Welcome back into the mental game, where this week's guest is NFL linebacker Zack Baun. Would you consider her being someone that saved your life?
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Through all of the change, really was the rock for me at rock bottom.
And in this episode, Zack opens up about his own mental health struggles for the first time, sharing what it was like early in his NFL career, hitting rock bottom with the Saints and feeling like he was never going to be a star player before betting on himself and then winning a Super Bowl in Philadelphia with the Eagles, where he's now a captain, plus his wife's love and how her friendship and partnership helped him when he was at his lowest. All of that and so much more in this amazing conversation. But first, I want to tell you about Man Therapy. And guys, I am talking to you because, look, we have to be comfortable being vulnerable and talking about our mental health. And that's why I want you to go to mantherapy.org today to find amazing tools and resources for us men to take the best care of our mental health. But now it is time for the latest episode here on The Mental Game with Zack Baun. Welcome back into the mental game. As you can see, I got a very special guest sitting next to me, Super Bowl champion linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, Zack Baun. Zack, thanks so much for coming on the mental game.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for bringing your amazing setup and your amazing self to my own personal house.
Yeah, thank you. You just moved in here. You still got the license plate from Louisiana, and I used to live in Louisiana, so I noticed that right when I pulled in. Thanks so much, man. We're on a Tuesday, an off day. You guys just had a crazy win over LA. I mean, what was going through your mind when that field goal was blocked?
I had to take, before the field goal, I had to take a knee just because I couldn't handle the emotions of possibly losing that game, or like it was overwhelming. But so happy we won. Obviously, the fight, the heart, the grit, the determination to win that game was insane.
Gosh, that's awesome, man. It's by the time this airs, it'll be probably week 5 or week 6. But you guys are 3-0, looking great. Amazing win there against LA. But I want to go into your story. You have this amazing story of just keeping and going. Like when it comes to people that make it to the NFL, you got drafted, you got to live out that dream. But early on, it was some tough sledding, trying to find that identity, find where you fit in when you played for the Saints. Obviously, you come here to Philadelphia, try to prove it, 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And you have an interception in the Super Bowl, become an all-pro, get a 3-year deal. It's a pretty remarkable story, but this is also probably the first time that you've really opened up about any mental health struggles. So I really appreciate you having that confidence to do it here with me. But the first thing I start with everyone is just, what does mental health mean to you? And it's a very unique answer that everyone gives because we all go through these different journeys. And so I'll just ask you the same thing. What does mental health mean to you?
Yeah, mental health is huge in sports, and I started discovering mental health and kind of what it meant and the importance of it kind of in college, through a lot of transitions, playing different positions I'm not used to, and same thing in the league, playing positions I'm not used to, change of scenery, and it took a toll on my mental health, and it wasn't until I went through those struggles that I had to really lock in and figure out what was going on in my mind so that I can perform at the highest level.
You grew up in Wisconsin, got to live the dream to play for the Badgers in college. The journey wasn't easy. If I have the story right, you were, I think it's gray shirt is what they still called it at the time, you didn't have a full ride to go there your freshman year when it started, but ended up becoming a future NFL draft pick, one of the greats in that linebacker room for Wisconsin. But you mentioned those struggles. I know you had some injuries there, but even before that, in your childhood, was mental health talked about at all at home, at school, on the field? Because for me, I know I'm about 5 years older. I never heard about mental health until I was at my rock bottom, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just the era we grew up in, where mental health kind of wasn't discovered yet or talked about yet. If that makes sense. But never really in the household, especially in my household, it was kind of all of us. I have 5 siblings, so it was kind of all of us doing our own thing and figuring out life for ourselves.
Is there like a moment you can remember from when you were younger where like you first realized maybe you probably didn't even know what mental health or anxiety was at that point, but you played so many different sports. You played quarterback in high school. Obviously, you made the transition to linebacker. Was there a moment when you were younger where you were like, man, I am struggling or something's off? And maybe you look back now and you go, wow, I can't believe I didn't think of it then.
Yeah, it's mostly retrospective. Like I moved around a lot. I went to 4 different elementary schools, different schools growing up, and never really fit in. But sports really was that stability I needed to like kind of keep me on track and on the right path. And I used that as a crutch for my confidence, for my socialness. Like just being out there was me being good at sports and being around people.
Was sports just in general, being younger, kind of that safe space outlet to, I don't know if you had anger growing up, if you had things going on in your personal life, but was that like your place where you could just go out, play, forget it all?
Yeah. And especially looking back, crazy household, a lot of kids in the household, a lot of hecticness, chaos. Looking back, it was me. I just went outside and played. I played kickball with my friends. I played kick the can in the street, or I had my basketball, football, or whatever it was. I just went outside, and I guess that was my escape to just get away from the craziness of the house and just let my mind just be free and do what I wanted to do.
Do you remember a time, I joke about this, I live in a guest house in LA, and so there's 2 kids, one that's going to be a freshman in high school and one that's in 8th grade, and they're like always on their phones. They're always, playing video games like everyone else is in the world. But I joke with them. I'm like, you don't understand. I don't know. Did you grow up like this where like you would ride your bike to your friend's house on the weekend? Like you didn't call, you didn't check in, you just came back on Monday. Like, was that your era still or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you would just go and come back whenever you wanted to, essentially, especially on a weekend or in the summer.
Yeah.
You were just out, and then you'd come back, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just funny looking back on that. Obviously, social media can help, people, a show like this maybe help someone that doesn't feel like they have anyone they can relate to. They see you talking about things that you've been through might help them. But in that era of growing up, you mentioned the chaotic household, having, your siblings. You also have an adopted younger brother too, who's I think 10 now.
Yep.
How much did that family aspect of having that many siblings help you? Like, I know it can be hectic, obviously, growing up with brothers, sisters, different people in and out of the house, but did you feel that bond with your siblings that helped you through those moments maybe when you were younger?
Not necessarily when I was younger.
Okay.
I think the bond between me and my siblings really grew as we got older and more mature. And like I said, it was just like we were fighting for ourselves when we were younger. But the bond grew stronger and stronger. And now that we're older, we're so tight knit. And every time I go back to Wisconsin, we're always hanging out.
You mentioned there was a bunch of people here right before we shot this from the past game. Were any of the siblings here in the house or just some friends in town?
Those were college friends in town.
Okay, nice.
2 weeks after this Tampa game, my whole family and all of my nieces and nephews are coming to town. So really looking forward to that.
That's super cool, man. Love that for you. On your journey, when did you figure out that football was the one that you wanted to focus on? Because you played so many sports growing up.
Yeah, I played. My first real love was soccer.
Okay.
And then I started football, basketball. I even did tennis one year. I ran track. And there was a time I transferred high schools, and I wasn't having, between my sophomore and junior year, I wasn't having the best time playing football at my old high school. So when I transferred, I was like, I'm just going to play basketball. I think I'm going to give up on this football stuff, just because it was just a lot to do all year round. And I thought I was better at basketball at the time. So, but it wasn't until my best friend now, Nick Coleman, convinced me to try out for football like halfway through training camp. He's like, come on, man. Like, we could really use you. Yeah, my junior year at Brown Deer. We could really use you. I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, he's got the head coach calling me like, hey, just come to one practice and see how you like it. And of course, I knew if I went to one practice, I'd be in on the team. But I'm glad I did. I stuck it out. And then the football coach was the track coach, so of course I did track. But awesome. I'm glad I didn't step away from the game of football because I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah, it's funny how life kind of plays those games with you, and you're like, do I really want to go to that practice? Coach is calling. I don't know. And then you end up being in the seat you are in now, a Super Bowl champ, an all pro, getting to live out those dreams. You played quarterback. Did you play defense too in high school?
A little bit of defense, not much.
Okay, but
Yeah.
pretty much quarterback all the way. And then defense, that switch came at Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you being a dual threat guy, I think I want to remember I got these stats right. You had 3,000 career passing and rushing yards.
Something like that.
Yeah, crazy. So
Yeah.
6,000 all purpose. I want to say close to 100 touchdowns. Like it was just an awesome career in 2 years, maybe
Yep.
70 touchdowns. But for you, getting that chance to play at Wisconsin, that's a dream come true. Maybe even a dream you didn't know you had because you weren't even that into football. But you didn't get that scholarship right away. Can you walk me through what that process was like? Did you have other offers? How did you end up at Wisconsin?
Yeah. So my first offer came I think beginning of my senior year of high school.
Okay.
I got an offer from South Dakota State, and that was a full ride. And because I was a dual threat quarterback, I really wasn't a good quarterback. Like I wasn't going to play that at the next level.
Okay.
Colleges offered me like at different positions, like wide receiver. I got an offer
Sure.
at general athlete was a big term.
Yep.
A lot of teams were at linebacker or defensive end. But South Dakota State was my first offer. My second offer was a gray shirt to Wisconsin.
Okay.
And like you said, gray shirt is when you sit out that first semester, you're not really on the team.
Yeah, it's tough.
And that was when Gary Anderson was the head coach.
Mm.
He ended up leaving at the end of that year. And then Paul Chris came in.
Yep.
He looked at who had offers. He's like, Zack Baun. He tells this story all the time. But Zack Baun, we're offering this guy a gray shirt. And then he actually upgraded it to a full ride right before signing day.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I had two offers, South Dakota State and Wisconsin. And of course, I picked the hometown team.
Coach Chris to do that and to give you that chance, do you ever just think about if he never gave you that opportunity to have that full ride? It had to help your mental health going into college, knowing that you could focus on both school and football, but you didn't have to prove yourself as much being a guy that wasn't on scholarship.
Yeah, and it would have been really hard for me not being on scholarship to prove myself like that because I was changing positions to a position I had never played. I didn't know anything about coverages, anything about pass rushing. I was just going in there and hoping something good happened in my development. And that's what ended up happening. I sat behind a lot of great players, TJ Watt, Andrew Van Ginkel, Vince Beagle.
Yeah.
We had a really good lineage ahead of me, and I just trusted the process throughout and saw it through.
Getting to that point, though, wasn't easy, where you're a senior and you're all Big Ten and you have a chance to get drafted. Those injuries, we talk about, obviously, this being the mental game, but mental and physical health go hand in hand. They happen so parallel to each other in life and up here in your head. Those struggles, am I getting this right? Your sophomore or junior year, you missed the whole season?
Yeah, my redshirt sophomore year.
How did that change your perspective on, the mental game when you have this thing taken away from you that's given you so much these past few years? Yeah,
especially at Wisconsin. That was the year I was supposed to start and be a main guy. I had waited my turn.
Yep.
I had redshirted. That's what you do at Wisconsin. You wait and you take your turn. And then when it was finally my opportunity, I had a Liz Frank in my foot in training camp in August, right at the beginning of the year. And then went downhill for me and my mental at that point. Luckily, I had met my wife, Allie, around that time. And she really was the main helper and the main person that was guiding me through all that.
When you went through that as a junior, senior in college, how do you process that in an environment where people didn't talk about this stuff? Was Allie the first person that you ever opened up about any of those struggles? What were those conversations like when you are out for a year and you might feel like you're at a tough point in your life? Was she the only one that really knew that stuff was going on inside?
Yeah, she was the only one that really knew because we spent so much time together. And at the time, I didn't even know I was going through something like that.
Yeah.
And I started wanting to drink more at home, like irregularly, and just acting not like myself. I was on a scooter, so I was like finding reasons to miss class, and I was doing bad in class. And there was just so many things going on that I wasn't even aware of. But she helped me identify those things and really was the rock for me at rock bottom.
Yeah, I'm able to obviously do this now, and this is my full-time thing, talking about mental health. And I tell people so many times that like those warning signs of not being yourself, that's the biggest warning sign. If you are drinking too much or you're not doing the things that you love to do, you're not, whether it's maybe you love class, you're not going to class, you're not hanging out with the boys, whatever it is, like that's when you can feel like you're not being yourself. So to have a person in your life that is able to help point that out, and then you are able to bounce back and have, can I say monster senior year? Like you had a monster senior year and get a chance to get drafted. I have to imagine, I know 2020 was different. Obviously getting drafted at home, everything's virtual, but getting to hear your name called in the NFL draft and have, I think it was Sean Payton was still the coach in New Orleans at the time, to have Coach Payton give you a call and to realize that all that hard work, all those ups and downs, the injuries, the mental struggles, all that end up seeing those dreams come true. How rewarding was that moment, that phone call?
Super rewarding. We talked before the pod, and I said I never really watched football growing up. I'm not a big football history guy. I don't know anything.
I wasn't going to get into that just yet.
About football, really. But I really didn't have any dreams or aspirations to play in the NFL. Like I wasn't writing in first grade like my dream is to play in the NFL or anything. Like it's just what I like to do, and that was just the path that seemed most natural to go to a good school, get a degree, get it paid for, and just continue to play football, a game that we love as kids.
You are someone that, and I've known you for 2 hours since before we started doing this interview, but you just seem genuine, and so I can feel that contagious energy where like you're not saying that as like, hey, I just made it here. It's like, no, this just kind of came to me. So to have that dream come true moment, and it wasn't even a dream when you were younger, is wild to think about. But how tough was that first year through the COVID restrictions? I mean, I know how it was for me as a team reporter. Like, just you couldn't be in the locker room, we couldn't travel. It was really, really tough. I can't imagine. That's the biggest transition of your life and the hardest year that we've ever seen in this world. How tough was that on your mental, trying to figure that out, on top of them changing positions on you, like from what you played in college? Like it had to just be this tornado of just toughness, right?
Yeah, we're moving across the country from Wisconsin, literally across the country, from Wisconsin to New Orleans. COVID was going on, so you couldn't. There was no off season. There was no OTAs, no mini camp. I'm like in my yard, like setting up cones, trying to like figure out these defenses and these coverages. Without actually playing. It's so hard, especially for me when I was playing outside linebacker. Now I'm stepping off the ball. So I really needed those reps that I didn't get. And then heading into training camp, COVID was interfering with everything, and you couldn't spend as much time in the meeting room. It was just a crazy time, and it really set me back. And I don't want to blame it all on COVID, but COVID had a big part in that.
No, I think COVID, getting to talk to so many different pro athletes or just teachers, students when I'm at schools, it's like everyone in the world, that was the first time that we were all affected really by the same thing. And it was where we felt alone, or we had to deal with these mental struggles that maybe we hadn't before. How did you get through that rookie year and be able to push on? Because you were always, it seems like throughout high school into college, in this, I say short, but in that 6-year period of playing football full time, able to overcome those obstacles. So when you're having your first, your rookie year, your second year, where you're playing mostly special teams, you're maybe sitting behind some vets, struggling, I don't know if it was with playbook, with concepts, with position, all that stuff combined. How did you push on through those first 2-3 years in the league when you really weren't seeing any fruits of that labor pay off?
Yeah, I think what really helped me looking back, because going through it, it was obviously really tough, but what helped me mentally going through it was I had gone through such a similar thing at Wisconsin. I got there, a position change, playing a position I never played before, but I'm just so competitive that like, I'm going to get this. I'm trying to be the best at it. And I had to, at Wisconsin, I had to sit behind players just as I was doing in New Orleans. So I had that experience before, changing positions, new scenery, and just waiting it out and taking my turn. It was like, I'm not going to say it was easy by any means, but
Right.
trusting the process and in knowing that I'll get the results I want in the end if I just keep working.
People always talk about like get mad when you say a cliche, like trust the process or be coachable. Like all those things are cliches because they're true.
Yeah.
Like I hated when people told me that like time heals all wounds.
Mm.
I don't even recognize the person I used to be 3 years ago when I was at my
Yeah.
rock bottom. But if you look at your story and your rookie deal is coming up, those in most cases without a 5th year option or 4 years in the NFL for rookies, you get to that 4th year. How much did you feel like you were possibly struggling with this new dream, like being able to keep on that path? Because when you're not playing a lot, you're struggling internally. There's a lot of guys that would turn to the booze, turn to clubbing, turn to whatever vice they have and kind of give up in that moment. Why didn't you think?
Yeah, I think what helped me was when I sat back and I reflected on it and where I was at and how far I've come and where I came from. I had no dream or aspiration of being in the NFL. So the fact that I'm in these rooms, in these meeting rooms, running out on the field every game, was like a life changing a thing for me. Like I already made it to the top. Why not push myself that extra mile to go even further? Like I'm already here.
Yep.
Why not take that next step and keep pushing through those tough times? Now the times were hard. Like I felt like it was a mix between my mind wanted to tell me that it's the coaches not giving me an opportunity. But then I'm like thinking at myself, like, am I not giving it my all? Like, am I not diving? Yeah. So it's just so many things going on in my mind, but the only thing that was constant was the hard work and the effort.
Did you have moments of struggling with depression, anxiety in those couple years, that last year in New Orleans, where, man, like this shit is it going to end where it's just this tough? Did you struggle with that anxiety, depression at all?
Absolutely. Anxiety. Going into the building every day with a frog in my throat. Nervous not to mess anything up because I felt like I was letting people down, like my teammates down. Guys say on the football field, do it for the person next to you. And when I was messing up on the field, I feel like I was letting the person next to me down. So I was playing not to mess up and not playing to succeed for myself. So definitely anxiety going in every day to work.
And this is a show that obviously you can open up as much as you want to. I think I read somewhere where you maybe had a day that you remembered being at a rock bottom, crying in your car, I think maybe outside the team facility. Did you have that rock bottom moment, or what did it look like in those days where it really was that dark and that anxiety, maybe even some depression?
Yeah, I remember it exactly. It was after a training camp day. I'm fighting for a spot. And I had a bad day, like every athlete does. But it just so happened to be after a couple bad days. And then I just felt so heavy, frog in my throat, like this feeling of I'm not going to be the player I thought I was going to be this year, or I'm letting people down was a big one that came to mind. But from there, I just kind of chose to let go and be free and kind of like a come what may attitude. And then I was like, I'm playing special teams. I'm still in the NFL. I feel like I'm a solid special teams player. And I could do this for a long time. So let this be my thing right now, and then keep working at the linebacker thing and just see where that takes me.
Do you think that was your rock bottom 2 years ago, crying in that car?
I honestly do, because after that, I came home and I talked to Allie about it. And she's just like, come what may, you're not letting anyone down. You've already made it so far. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, which is an easy thing to say, but a hard thing to kind of do. But after that, I had opportunities, to play defensive end and rush the passer, do a little bit of what I did in college, made me feel more comfortable, more at home. And then I finished the season out strong, and then free agency happened, and I got a chance to come to the Eagles.
I definitely want to get into your Eagles career, but I can't help but mention it after I just met Allie, your baby boy. You guys were hanging out for like these 2 hours before we started. Having that rock in those moments at Wisconsin, in New Orleans, here in Philly, would you consider her being someone that saved your life, saved your career because you had her to go to?
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Through all of the change, changing schools, getting to the league, like it's drastic changes everywhere. We're moving our family everywhere, our 2 dogs, but she was like the constant in it all, and she takes care of everything for me. I think NFL wives in general don't get as much love as and appreciation as they should, because they're the ones really helping with the mental game of the husband and the players at home. So big shout out to my wife Allie for holding it down for sure.
You guys have a great loving relationship. You can tell that just being in the room with you too. Is there something that, you know, she told you or helped you with when you did have that rock bottom day where you just had it? For me, it seemed like you're trying to prove it to everyone else, but you didn't care about proving it to yourself. How did she help you get out of that mindset, you think?
I think she really lifted the pressure off myself, and said, you've already come so far, and helped me reflect. I think that's the biggest thing, the reflection. Because you're already at the peak of,
you're in the league, you're here.
You're in the league, you're here. What else do you have to worry about? And I think I remember her telling me, we'd be fine if you got cut tomorrow, you know, we would move on. Life goes on, and kind of just come what may, and see what happens. But I think it's the consistency, having someone reliable to talk to. Just on an everyday basis really helps. And I'm a big homebody, so just when I'm at work, I'm all in. But when I come home, I'm like, I'm home. I'm home, and she knows that, I know that, and just a great relationship.
Last thing I'll ask is kind of in that era before you came here to Philly, you mentioned in college maybe drinking more than you should have been, or kind of going to that as an unhealthy coping mechanism. Did you fall back on that in that moment in New Orleans too?
Nothing more than I had
Gotcha.
been doing. Of course, I would go out for like beers after wins, or nothing drastically crazy, but in college it was definitely like when I found myself drinking 6 IPAs on a Wednesday night. Like, that's super unhealthy. Going out on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays after games, like that's when I knew like I was in a dark place and needed to find a way to get out of it.
But at that point, you guys were still fresh dating. Maybe it opened up to her a little bit. So you had to have some, like, what made you realize that, like, I'm in recovery. I'm almost 3 years sober. So I understand that journey. Thank you. I understand that journey. That takes a lot of willpower at 19, 20, 21 years old to realize that and step back. What do you think it was? Did you see like kind of the effects of it, or how it was changing you, or that it was, you know, you're covering up for some other pain? Like, how did you step away from that?
Yeah, I think I saw the effects in my academics. I thought I was a decent student at first. And then when I was going through those tough times with my foot, and then drinking more, and just kind of not caring as much. I really saw it in my academics, so I knew I had to change. And then that following year, when I got healthy, was another opportunity for me to play. And I was like, that's my light. Like, that's my new goal. That's how I'm going to get out of this mess that I'm in. And I just attacked it. I stopped all the stuff I was doing. I started going to class, diving into my major, and really enjoying it. And then once I started enjoying school again, it's kind of when I
football
followed, and boom, got drafted. Yeah.
Yeah, and 5 short, I'll say short years. They aren't short probably on the path for you, but 5 short years later getting to Philly and being a Super Bowl champ. Let's go into this chapter now as we're sitting in you and Allie's beautiful house here in Philly, just outside of the city. You come here on a 1-year deal, and it's your shot, man. Like, it's a tough space. I've been in this league for 10 years as a reporter. I understand what cut down days like, what it's like to be a career special teamer. Like, it's a tough road.
Yeah.
To take that chance and sign a 1-year deal and really go after being a backer in this league. How tough was it to even just make that decision? And how grateful are you for the Eagles for giving you a chance?
Yeah, my mind was like split between I can play special teams for a long time, and still make a lot of money, obviously, and then or I could give it one last shot to try to play this inside linebacker thing, and I luckily didn't have to make the decision by myself. My agent and my wife were like, "No, go, chase it. You're already here. You might as well.
Yep.
Like, you have nothing to lose. You can always play special teams." So it was easy having good people around me to lead me in the right direction.
When you start to see it pay off, like around maybe game 3, game 4, game 5 of your first year in Philly, were you like, "Hey, thanks, Allie, I appreciate that." You're like, "Thanks for pushing me." Like, how gratifying was that to see you play back inside, start making big plays, and just live out that position that you knew you had back in college?
Yeah. After the first couple games, I'm like coming home like, "Al, I might be decent at this." Like, this, we might be all right. Like, I'm kind of getting the hang of it, and yeah, it was just completely new to me because so I played on the ball in college. I played mostly on the ball with the Saints, and then had to come to Philly and learn this whole crazy Vic Fangio scheme off the ball. So it was completely new, but I just attacked it head on. I'm like, I'm signing a 1-year prove it deal. Let's freaking do it. Like, let me prove it, and that's what I did.
Is there a moment in the season where obviously you guys had a special run where I think you went 14-3? Was there a moment in that season where you were like, I know you came home after the first game and told Al, like, "Hey, we might be onto something here," but like, did you have a moment where like, "Damn, I'm so glad I stuck with this"?
I'm sure I had a couple of those moments.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Sorry. Yeah. I think, yeah, there was a lot of those moments.
Give me one. Give me 2.
Year.
Give me something like where you're like, "Damn, I had this really good game," or a big sack, like something that comes up where you're like, "Hey, I might be here for more than 1 year."
I think it was the first playoff game last year against Green Bay.
Yep.
I had an interception on Jordan Love. Green Bay is my hometown team, so to have all my friends and family have these crazy mixed emotions, I'm like, yep, you should. Yep. I did that.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
That was cool.
You talk about that playoff run. Obviously, winning a Super Bowl is any kid's dream when they're talking about coming to the NFL. But for you, it had to mean something more. You guys played the Saints earlier in that year in the Dome.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've worked 30 games there. I understand what it's like. It's a crazy environment. People are just partying. They love their team. Was it mixed emotions going back into a stadium where you had some pretty low times in your personal and your mental health in New Orleans while you were playing for the Saints? How tough was it going back there that first time and playing there again?
Yeah, it was very emotional. I think it was week 3 we went into New Orleans. I went and ate at my restaurant, of course, the night before. But like I said, I was stuck between like being mad at them for not giving me an opportunity, but at the same time they gave me an opportunity and I didn't succeed, so
Sure.
I didn't earn it. And then I was like, did I do something wrong? Like, was I not putting in all of my effort? I think I could say that as well, but so many mixed emotions, and I just wanted to have a good game going back there. I love that city, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful city. The people are amazing. I love it. Just the humidity. I can't do. The food's amazing, but yeah. What was your favorite restaurant? Do you remember?
Merrill.
Okay,
Merrill,
gotcha. I
and I
never
love
made it there.
Pesh too.
Okay, gotcha. Just man, the oysters there are out of this world. It's
Fantastic.
different type of food. Back to football though. That season, you mentioned that interception against your hometown team. You already went back once to play in your old home in New Orleans in the Dome. To play the Super Bowl there and to have a moment like you did picking off Pat Mahomes. I mean, I know when you're on the field, it's not as cinematic as when you're watching it back or you're a fan in the stands. But could you write a better script on how your career could go?
Just insane.
Yeah.
Just it's poetic, and I need to write a book.
Yeah.
After my career is said and done, I need to write a book about 2024, 2025, Zack Baun, because it was just insane. I think what really helped was, so we're there for a week. We're doing a lot of media and stuff. So we're there for a week. We're practicing there.
Yep.
And when I walk into the Saints practice facility, a big blown up Zack Baun poster right on the wall of the old practice facility I used to train in.
Wow.
And I think that gave right off the bat, gave me this confidence, the swagger,
Yeah.
like, I'm back. Like this is this is mine. Like,
yep.
I felt very comfortable there, being in New Orleans, and then to have the interception, it was cinematic, by the way.
Okay.
As the ball was coming to me, I'm like, holy crap! I'm in the Super Bowl, picking off Patrick Mahomes in New Orleans. Like, boom, caught it, celebrated. It was insane.
A moment like that, but then just that night of the whole team, but that defense, the way y'all played. I mean, how rewarding was that with all that work you put in with those brothers throughout the season to go up against a team that's trying to three-peat and some of the all-time greats in Mahomes, in Kelsey, and Coach Reed. I mean, you guys have been there before. I know you not personally, but the Eagles have been there before. They've won Super Bowls. But to have that defense come together and play like that on that stage, how incredible was that for you personally?
That's my favorite part, and the part I'm most proud of, especially being one of the leaders on the defense. Everyone, it was kind of a ragtag group of guys, and everyone had a chip on their shoulder for a different reason, whether they were written off somewhere else, like myself, or they were told they were too small, not fast enough.
Yep.
They can't do it in this league. He's not quick enough. Every single one you could look at and say they had a chip on their shoulder for a different reason.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good at first. Like the first 4 games, we were 2-2, and people were writing us off, and we were towards the bottom half of the league in our statistics. But just continuing to have faith in the defense, the system, each other. Coach Nick Sirianni really focuses on being together, and I think that was the key.
Yeah,
and that's the key for any team, any offense, any defense, was spending time off the field, eating meals together, and building that chemistry, just so that when you're in those tough situations, you can really succeed.
Yeah, you know how to get out of them. You know how to bond together and build that resilience. To celebrate on that field with Allie, with a newborn or younger son, all together in the Dome. Can you walk me through just looking up and being able to give your wife a kiss, see your son there, and be like, "Damn, this is it. Like, I made it."
Yeah, it didn't even feel real. It didn't even feel real. Yeah, when we won, it was just confetti, a lot of people on the field, and then me kind of like shuffling through the crowd trying to find Allie.
Yeah.
And there's a clip of it somewhere. I give her a big hug.
Yep.
Just saying, like, can you freaking believe this? Because 2 years ago in New Orleans, I was crying in my car and thinking my career could be shortened, but to just stick through it, and that moment right there made it all worth it. And I'm sure if we didn't win the Super Bowl, we'd still be looking at it saying it was all worth it, but for it to end with the Super Bowl was super special.
Yeah, I mean, trying to be in your shoes in that situation on the field, knowing the conversations you had with your wife over the last 3-4 years, did you shed some happy tears there with her?
Yeah, for sure.
What was that conversation, that moment like? Did you tell her, like, hey, we did it?
Yeah, we did it. Like, this is it. Like, it wasn't just me. I couldn't have done it by myself. Granted, my teammates, but without Allie, I wouldn't be in that position. Like
Mm.
she truly holds me steady. She's my rock. Like I felt like I had to. We had to celebrate together, and I know she felt that too.
God, that's beautiful, man. You cannot write a script better than that. And what it does is obviously helps you find a new home in Philly. You also get a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
What was that like to finally have a place where I know you were in New Orleans for 4 seasons, but a place that you can call home and you feel like you belong and they want you and you're playing your best? How much does that help you and just your life, man?
Yeah. I mean, signing with Philadelphia in the first place, on that 1-year deal, I could feel the love. Like
Yeah.
they didn't really know who I was. The fan base
Mm.
didn't really know
Yep.
who I was, but I could feel that like the coaches were excited about me. The
Yeah.
building had like this energy that I was like, okay, like
Yep.
if
I can do it.
clean slate, fresh page, like, and I think that's what really got me going from the jump.
You when you signed, I think after the fact, after you guys won the Super Bowl on the way to that season, Jason Kelsey hosts that show on ESPN, like kind of his late night talk show.
Yeah.
I'll cut this if I have this wrong, but I think he asked your GM
How? Yeah.
yeah, if he thought that this is what Zack Baun would do when he signed him. He said, quote, "Fuck no." Hearing that, but having that bond and belief, what has that relationship been like with him, the front office, the fan base? I mean, they do love you here, and you've been able to become this guy that maybe you didn't even know you could get to.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about it is that I'm just like a regular guy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a humble guy, as you see when you like talk about my stats. I'm like looking over here and try not to make it be about me. But this place is just so genuine, and they want everyone to succeed. And the fan base is so passionate. I know they get a lot of slack, but they're just passionate.
Yeah.
They want to see us do well, as do we. But I just love the love, and this is definitely home now.
Men have to be vulnerable about our mental health. You've heard both Zach and myself talk about it throughout this conversation. We grew up in an era where we didn't show our emotions. We were weak as men or young men if we shared that we were struggling or had these feelings of being sad, depressed, anxiety, all of that stuff. But as you've heard us talk about throughout this interview, it's actually a strength. And that's why I want to talk to you about Man Therapy. Go to mantherapy.org today to find amazing tools and resources that can help you in your life. If you're a man struggling with your mental health, take their 18-point head inspection. It's a quick 2-minute test that asks you everyday basic questions about life, work, how you're feeling, what you're doing to help you take the best care of your mental health. You got to be open. If you're an NFL player playing every Sunday with all that pressure, you're a podcaster, a sports reporter, or someone just listening to this podcast too, we're all in this together. And for us men, I just need all of us to remember that you're not alone, but you got to talk about how you're feeling. When we bottle it up, it makes it so much worse. Zach has that partnership with his wife, Allie. I have that partnership with my family, my friends, my therapist. We all have to find those people that we can lean on, but we got to be open and be willing to ask for help as men. So once again, find amazing tools and resources for us men at mantherapy.org today. Suicide can be tough to talk about, but that's why the Happiness Project is helping break the stigma. After losing their classmate Nick, his friends knew they had to do something to help save lives. So, the Happiness Project was born, a clothing brand to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention with t-shirts and hoodies to start a conversation and let people know, just like you are not alone. To learn more, follow @Happiness Project on social media and use the code MENTALGAME at happinessproject.com for 15% off your first order. I pulled up today, beautiful house, lovely neighborhood, and I go to park my car and I'm expecting this giant whip. And look, I drove a Honda Accord until like 2 years ago, so I'm not hating on it, but I pull up and like I see my car and I'm like, yo, my bro just got this big deal, won the Super Bowl, all pro. Is there some type of motivation behind still driving that car?
There is, and I leased that car my rookie year. It's a 2020 Honda Accord. But I leased that car, and I have a picture of me with the keys. Just so excited that I bought myself a new car.
Yeah.
So there is some kind of motivation and some humbleness with that. I love that car. It's a great car, by the
Yeah,
way.
I enjoyed driving mine. But why do you, like, is it just like, hey, that's my first car I bought. I want to keep it. I'm good. Like, you don't need this flashy whip.
I don't think I need a flashy car.
Okay.
I don't know what a flashy car is for. I think if I was to upgrade, it'd just be for a bigger car.
Okay. For the fam, the dogs.
The fam, the dogs. But I like my Honda.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that as a shot. I drove a Honda for almost 10 years. I was just, it's funny because I spent a lot of time around these athletes and celebrities. So I like see these cars. So Giovanni Bernard, who was a running back for the Bengals, he I think went to a couple other teams right after that, but he was there my first 2 or 3 years, covering the league. And he drove, I think it was a minivan. Like,
oh gosh.
yeah, so that was his car in college. And he's like, I'm going to stick with it. And so I love stuff like that. God, that's funny. I'm sorry. I had to ask.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Don't hate me on that one.
That's awesome.
We only got a couple minutes before I got to wrap and get across town to another shoot. But I wanted to ask you just a couple more things. Do you have a favorite moment in the league? Is it that interception? Is it that conversation with Ali on the field, tearing up, crying after? Do you have something you can point to where you're like, this is it? Like, this is the moment for me?
I think it was the NFC Championship game. We beat Washington. And my son didn't go to the Super Bowl, but he went to the NFC Championship game.
Awesome video.
And he had the headphones on on the field. And just to see him, Allie, now that we have a family, it makes it that much more special that I'm not just doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for them as well. And just more motivation, really. That's
incredible. I love that for you. You guys are great. I just, like I said, a couple more things. If there's someone that is that kid that was you maybe 2 years ago, sitting in that car crying, worried about their career, what's up next? Are they going to make it? Or that kid that was hurt in college, really, really struggling. What kind of advice would you give someone that's in that situation and wants to make it to the next level, whether it's football or not?
Yeah, don't give up on yourself, or don't be quick to give up on yourself.
Yeah.
I think with a lot of hard work, obviously, like people say, like hard work pays off.
Yeah.
But it truly, that's another one of those cliches. It truly does though. And just being patient, I think through injury, especially, like it's hard at first.
Yeah.
When you're in that boot or on those crutches.
Yep.
Or in a wheelchair, or whatever it may be, it's hard at first. But just be patient. Yeah, it's truly crazy to go through something like that and then come out the other side, and on top. It's super rewarding.
Yeah,
it makes the Super Bowl even more rewarding than winning the Super Bowl.
It's that whole journey. I've been there myself. I don't even recognize the guy that I was 3 years ago. Baby's up. Dogs are barking behind us. So we'll wrap this up. I just thought when I ask a funny question to end with, because you mentioned your football knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. I don't think there's a shot in hell you get this right. Who was the Eagles quarterback that didn't know that you could end a game in a tie?
Can I get a hint?
It's an all-time great. It's an all-time great. That's what I'll give you. It's not that old.
Not that old.
Eagles quarterback was, the hint I'll give you, which it won't help you at all, but like they were playing the Bengals in overtime. This would have been, I think, mid 2000s, maybe early 2010s.
Mid 2000s, early 2010s.
Tying's stupid, by the way. You shouldn't be able to tie in a game. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Is it Michael Vick?
No, it's Donovan McNabb. Yeah, which no hate to him. I mean, like it just, we were all, well, it was funny. Like as a kid, I'm like, wait, is he right? I guess we can't tie. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like it would literally, like there was just no system, like it didn't happen that much. So that's my football knowledge. I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like when you go past like 2015. That's where I get lost.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
If you can just keep sacking the quarterback and intercepting the Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I think you'll be all right. Zach, thanks so much for coming on the Mental Game, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, love this conversation. We'll see everyone right back here next week. And I love that conversation with Zach. He is just a genuine good guy, and it's awesome for him after all of that struggle and the pain and the heartache early in his NFL career to find a home, bet on himself, and then get that new contract with the Eagles after winning the Super Bowl last season. Obviously, I'm a Bengals fan first, but I'll be cheering for the Eagles and Zach throughout the rest of this NFL season. Next week here on The Mental Game, a very special solo episode. I'm opening up about my own struggles, including my fear of never becoming a husband or a father. And I'm also going to take your calls for over an hour and share our stories together. That's next week, right back here on The Mental Game.